Hello, friends! Let's talk about Transmetals 2 Ramulus. As I said in the collection tour video that went up recently, I always wanted to get Ramulus, and I don't really know why. There's just something about Ramulus specifically that I was like, I really like that. It's probably the alt mode because it's amazing. It is definitely limited, but it is very cool. I really, really like his, is it an Ibex? Eevee? I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm just going to say Ibex. It's probably wrong. But I just always wanted to get one, and I finally got one. And he's definitely, an older Transmetals toy. He's got certain things with like limited articulation. Some of the transformation elements are a little bit odd. And of course, it's covered in transmetal chrome, so it's going to flake off eventually. It's got a few bits here and there on this one, but it's not that bad. I was kind of surprised actually. But oh boy, where to start with this thing? I think just the beast mode in general, the silhouette is spectacular. I love the lines on this thing. The contours of this beast mode are fantastic. Obviously the horns are the main show here, but even just like back legs, the forelegs, the way that the back kind of curves up into this hump and then down and around into the head is really cool. The coloring is also really nice. I just really like this pinkish burgundy chrome that they put on the torso, upper forelegs, and the head. And there are these little hits of green, in particular in the left shoulder and in the eyes, that pop really nicely with that kind of burgundy reddish pink chrome too. But then the slightly off-whitish gray that they have for most of this plastic, and the not metallic, but it kind of looks metallic brown that they used for like the furry bits, it all just works so well. And like the metallic blue paint works really well in that gray too. There's just a lot of really cool colors here. I think what works best for me as far as the colors go is the fact that you've got a more or less muted color scheme with the brown and the gray and the metallic blue because it's a darker tone. And then you've got this shock of really shiny pinkish red that just works so nicely. Now again, getting back to the shape of this thing, those horns, they really sell it. It's this really nice segmented curve with these almost plates going along the sides that end in what look almost like fish hooks. These are some really nasty horns, but in the best possible way. The thing that does kind of stink with this guy is he is stuck with his head in this position. You can't really get him to look up. But he's kind of in like a ramming attack mode, so I think that's fine. And then if you want, you can flip his face down, just kind of morbid, to reveal his maximal spark crystal? Is that what these are? But yeah, you can flip that down to reveal that, or you can just kind of see it poking through the hole in his forehead. It's a little bit grisly, but hey, Transmetals, they did that, right? It doesn't so much look like mechanical bits poking out of organic components. It looks more like most of the organic components have fallen off and almost all the mechanical stuff has been exposed. This is like Schwarzenegger at the end of a Terminator movie. In terms of articulation, the head doesn't do anything. You can move the forelegs up and down, and you can kind of butterfly them in, but not really out. The waist can move up and down, kind of, but that's more because of the unfortunate design of this guy's waist. The hips are on ball joints, so you can spin around, go out a bit, and you get a little bit of a pseudo thigh swivel. And then you've got knees and other knees. That's about it for the articulation, but that waist assembly is unfortunate. I really wish, and I know this is a complaint a lot of people have had with this toy, but I really wish that it just kind of clipped in solidly somehow. I don't think there's a way for it to do that. I could be missing something. Maybe this guy's transformation is definitely it's a thing that some Beast Wars figures did where certain transformation bits don't really have anywhere solid to go. It's just kind of folded here and hope it stays there. It's not great. I could probably go in there and tighten up that joint. I might do that, but it really needed some kind of solidifying tab or something. Beyond that, you can adjust the horns if you want. You can fold them up and then down to the sides, and the lever that controls the action gimmick is actually inside the head, so you can't really do anything with that in the beast mode, but you can push the horns to make it do that. This beast mode's actually a pretty decent size, too. He's, I want to say, a little bigger than kind of classic Beast Wars Deluxe. Maybe roughly mass-wise at about Kingdom Voyager size, maybe. Definitely bigger than Deluxe, though. Beast Wars Deluxe, though. I feel like when it comes to like more standard-ish Deluxes, he's kind of in that general wheelhouse, so to speak. Ramulus' transformation is a little awkward, I will say. It's mostly getting the arms out, because I'm pretty sure you have to rotate the shoulders around and then rotate the biceps around, because you want those ball joints facing out when you tuck the arms in, because it gives it the kind of angles that it needs to tuck into the torso of the beast mode. But it's really awkward to do, and it's just as awkward going out of beast mode into robot mode. On top of that, the joints for the animal legs that become shoulder pads and the robot shoulders, they just kind of clash into each other. It's doable, it's just awkward. But I do appreciate the fact that you can do the entire transformation while keeping the horn weapon attached. And what we're left with is an interesting little goat man with goat bits hanging off of him. Same colors as the beast mode, with the kind of muted grays, metallic blues, the sort of metallic-y looking browns, and then that really nice shock of chrome reddish pink. Color separation is nice. There's a lot of painted detail in the legs and the torso, and around back he's got just an enormous amount of horns. Also, he is ripped. It's the same colors as beast mode, nothing really new, except the orange for the eyes, which we'll see more when we look at the head. So good silhouette. He's got weird crab claw forearm guards. I don't really know what that's about. Same legs as the beast mode, which is kind of typical for these kinds of figures. I do appreciate, though, that he's got these fold-out spring struts that help to keep him stable. Now, the goat forelegs curled up to make shoulder pads is a bit odd, but I actually kind of like it, and when you're looking at them from the front, you don't even really see the legs, they just kind of tuck up. It would have been nice if they folded in a little bit more in the back to clean up a little bit more, but it's fine. So I almost completely forgot to talk about this guy's head. It is weird. It's got kind of almost like a Batman cowl thing going, except the ears kind of stick out a bit. I don't really know why the Ram guy got the Batman ears, but it's Beast Wars, I guess. They also kept the asymmetry going. You can see that the molding is not symmetrical. I mean, the design is, but like the actual molding is like slightly off center on each side. It's got kind of like a one eye slightly more closed than the other sneer going, which works, you know, it's Transmetals. They were deep into the 90s at that point. But the color separation is nice as well, with that combination of grayish off-white, the metallic brown, the metallic blue, and then that kind of shock of orange for the eyes. He does not look like a Maximal, but then all Beast Wars figures, when you look at the robot modes and the faces, look like bad guys. In terms of articulation, the head is on a swivel. The shoulders are on ball joints, so you can go forward and backward and out, but the foreleg shoulder pads do get in the way a bit. You get a bicep swivel, you get a double-jointed elbow, which curls all the way in because for the transformation you kind of need to. There is no waist joint, but I think that's understandable given how this thing accordions up. The hips are the same ball joints as the beast mode and have the same range. The knees are the same as the beast mode and have the same range, and then you can twiddle the heels. So pretty decent posability for this guy considering the era. Now the thing on the back, I actually do really like that you can store it on the back there, because it was just kind of awkward when I first got him and was trying to have him hold it as a weapon, because it's just weird. But I like that you can store it back there, or you can unplug it, and if you unplug the horns and you don't like having the goat head kind of peeking up behind his robot head, you can rotate it back and have it back along his back. So now his head is upside down on his back, but it's not as visible from the front. And then the horns can extend and give you this grabby claw thing. I think he's supposed to like shoot lightning out of it or something like that. And there's a little lever there that when you pull that, it does the grabby claw thing. You can't plug the peg for the lever into his hand, but you can plug the peg for the where it attaches to the beast mode head into his hand. And when you plug that in, he gets this big awkward thing, and it's fine. I'm not the biggest fan of this, how it looks, but it's fine. I kind of prefer it on his back. But a thing that I found out you can do, which I don't know if this is a thing that is normally talked about. It probably is. I'm sure it is. This figure's old enough. But in the artwork, it shows him with the horn weapon mounted to his wrist. And you can actually do that. You can take the little peg that you use for the gimmick and you can wedge it into the crab claw. It's not the best connection, but it does hold. But there you can give him his wrist-mounted gun thing, and that's cool. I really wish that it actually had like a peg hole in the back of his hand so it could like go in a little bit further into that crab claw, but it's okay for what it is. Now in terms of size, he's about deluxe height. He's definitely got more bulk than modern deluxes, most modern deluxes, but he works. I think he kind of comes off as stout almost. Aesthetically, he is all over the place, though he does not fit in with any modern deluxes that I've seen, but he looks cool. And yeah, that's about all I can say about Transmetals 2 Ramulus. I am very glad I finally got this guy. I was a little bit bummed at first because of plugging the weapon into his hand. I just didn't like it very much. But once I found out you could do this and store it on his back if you want, turned me around completely. I actually think this guy is fantastic. It's definitely got his limitations, definitely showing his age, but I love the colors, the asymmetrical biomechanical transmetal nonsense works really well for me with this particular guy. The transformation is a little fiddly, like I said, but still, it works pretty well for what it is, and you're left with two really great-looking modes. But I'm supposed to be done talking about what I think. So, what do you all think of this guy? Whatever your thoughts, feel free to chime in down below. I always enjoy hearing from you all. If you like this video or any of the other videos that I've done and you want to support the channel outside of watching the video in the first place, I do have a Patreon. It's a single $1 tier, gets you early access to new videos, gets you access to the occasional behind-the-scenes posts that I make, some work-in-progress stuff that I might be doing for customs, that kind of thing, and eventually, if I get enough people, I want to start doing polls so everyone can kind of weigh in on stuff that happens on the channel. With all that out of the way, thank you everybody for watching, and remember, art is more than meets the eye.